It's an honor to introduce my good friend and hero, Dr. Claud Evans, as the invited speaker for the Justin S. Morrill Memorial Lecture of 2021. Dr. Evans?
Thank you, Dr. Kuhn, for that introduction. Sometimes when you're getting introduced, you have to look around and be sure that you're the person they're talking about. And I really appreciate that. Dr. Castile, land-grant family and friends, it is indeed an honor to have been selected to be the speaker for the Justin Smith Morrill Lecture. I bring you greetings from the Ferguson College of Agriculture on the beautiful campus of Oklahoma State University in Stillwater. Oklahoma State University is one of two land-grant institutions in Oklahoma, the other being Langston University in Langston, Oklahoma. For the past 60 years, I have been navigating the land-grant system, even though I was not aware of it as such at that time. Today, I want to take a few minutes to mention some of the factors that have influenced my success as I journeyed through the land-grant system. I was born in 1943, the number 15 child of 15 children born to Edward and Virgie Evans. I graduated from Poto High School in Poto, Oklahoma. Because of the Morrill Act and its mission to provide opportunities for educating members of the working class, I was able to attend Oklahoma State University and graduate with a degree in agricultural biochemistry. However, my goal was to be a veterinarian. So I applied to OSU Veterinary School but was not accepted. I applied to Tuskegee Institute, a land-grant school, where I was accepted. As I was completing veterinary school, I applied for an internship in equine medicine and surgery at the University of California, Davis, which I received. This was the third land-grant institution I had attended. As I completed the internship, somehow Ralston Purina found out that I existed and made me an offer I couldn't refuse. After 11 years with Ralston Purina Company, my wife and I decided to move back home to Oklahoma so our children would know their grandparents and our parents would know their grandchildren. When I was in elementary school, Dr. John Montgomery, a graduate of two land-grant institutions, Prairie View A&M College and Tuskegee Institute School of Veterinary Medicine, moved to our community. I worked for him while I was in junior high and senior high school. When I was 13 years old, my dad died, and Dr. Montgomery became my mentor and sort of a father figure. When we moved back to Oklahoma, Dr. Montgomery continued to mentor me. He was serving on the Board of Regents for Oklahoma State University and the A&M colleges. He told me that I needed to know and be known by some of the significant leaders in Oklahoma and OSU and Langston University. He was instrumental in talking with the governor of Oklahoma, who appointed me to the Board of Examiners for Veterinary Medicine in Oklahoma. Then I received an appointment to the Board of Trustees of the University Center of Tulsa from a second governor. Finally, I was appointed to two 8-year terms on the Board of Regents of Oklahoma State University and the A&M colleges. During that 16-year period, I served as board chairman twice. That was 4 appointments from 4 different governors 2 Democrats and 2 Republicans. Have you ever wondered why some people are successful or uncommon and others not? I believe the land-grant system and most of the individuals working in the system foster the dream that Justin Morrill had when the state legislatures and Congress set aside funds to establish these institutions. Do you think there is a basic difference in the philosophy of life that successful people use that unsuccessful people do not use? Dr. George Washington Carver, a scientist, inventor, educator, and truly a great man, did many great and profound things. All of you are no doubt familiar with some of the parts of his life and some of the accomplishments and achievements. Well, one learns a great deal about Dr. Carver's philosophy for living and overcoming problems when they read one of his favorite poems taken from the book, The Man Who Talked with the Flowers. I will give you part of that poem now and the remainder at the end of the talk. Figure it out for yourself, my lad. You of all that the greatest of men have had, 2 arms, 2 hands, 2 legs, 2 eyes, and a brain to use if you would be wise. With this equipment, they all began. So start from the top and say, I can. Look them over, the wise and the great. They take their food from a common plate, and similar knives and forks they use. With similar laces they tie their shoes. The world considers them brave and smart, but you have all they had when they made their start. You can triumph and come to skill. You can be great if you only will. You're well equipped for what fight you choose. You have arms, legs, and a brain to use. The man who has risen great deeds to do began his life with no more than you. My parents always taught us to concentrate on the positive and the good. They would say, you will become what you think about all day long. They would say, you will become the average of the 6 or 8 people that you spend the most time with. One of the childhood lessons that I remember was that my dad had told me to do some chore. I don't remember for sure what the chore was, but I do remember I told him that I can't do that. When I said I can't do that, I will never forget his response. And he said, as he looked me in the eye, son, I kill can't. I whipped couldn't until he could, and I'm going to whip you until you do if you don't. Needless to say, I did what I had just finished saying I couldn't do. It's amazing what we can do if the motivation is sufficiently strong. To navigate the land-grant system, you must have an I can attitude. Another factor that is most crucial to success in navigating the land-grant system is attitude. Let me ask you a question. Think about your family doctor. Have you ever seen his or her transcript or grades from medical school? Do you know whether he or she graduated in the top, the middle, or the bottom third of their class? On what did you base your decision for selection of a family doctor? You want only the best possible medical care, but when you think about it, very little objective data was evaluated. In most cases, we select the person that we like. What do supermarkets and what banks do we use? We use the ones with the most positive individuals working there. Most of our decisions of this nature are based on subjective rather than objective data. Another key element needed to successfully journey through the land-grant system is you must know the people who have the ability and desire to help you reach your goals. For best results, you must know your dean, department heads, and others that are in positions of leadership. You must have an attitude of service to others, keeping in mind that the land-grant system was developed to help the masses. Your own attitude will influence those factors that determine whether or not people like you. If you're not likable, you will not be successful in navigating the land-grant system or any other system. The Bible tells us that he who would be chief among you must be servants of all. You must have an attitude of care and concern and appreciation for students and people with whom you work. Because you are a participant in the land-grant system, you can't have the attitude that there's one set of rules for you and another set of rules for everybody else. That is a sure formula for failure. Two sets of rules and no morale. Don't let yourself take on that holier-than-thou godly attitude. It is said that at the Tehran conference, the big three, Franklin Roosevelt, Winston Churchill, and Joseph Stalin, were talking informally in the hallway. And Winston Churchill spoke up and said, "It is clear that history shall record that I, more than any man, has helped to shape the destiny of mankind for the next 100 years. Joseph Stalin spoke up and said, nah, God Almighty himself has told me, Joseph Stalin, that I would shape the destiny of mankind for the next 100 years. Franklin Roosevelt spoke up and said, Joe, I never told you any such thing. When I was with Ralston Purina Company, I was selected by Hal Dean, the president and CEO at that time, to be part of the Management Advisory Board. This board was used by Purina as an internal management development tool. It consisted of 16 people. Each person served 2 years on the board, and 8 people rotated on and off the board each year. During my tenure on the board, one of our assignments was to survey the attitudes of people in every level of the Purina organization nationwide, from the entry-level individual to the corporate officers. The individuals interviewed were computer selected, and based on the travels of the 16 members on the board, interview assignments were made. During this period, my job travels carried me to San Francisco, so my interview assignments included Purina employees in San Diego, California, San Jose, California, Sparks, Nevada, and St. Louis, Missouri. When the results of the interviews were all in and tabulated, what do you think the most common complaint or dissatisfaction was? From the entry level to the corporate officers, the most common complaint wasn't salary. It wasn't working hours. the most common complaint was, no one says thank you. An attitude that allows you to appreciate your fellow workers and say thank you is essential for your long-term success and navigation of the land-grant system. Not only will thank you aid you in your institutions, but it will also be a very beneficial phrase to use in your home. Everyone likes to be appreciated. We've all heard the statement, you catch more flies with honey than you do with salt. Well, thank you can be your honey. My journey with the land-grant system continued when I met Dr. Ernest Holloway, the president of Langston University and a land-grant school. On the local level, I became the president of the Okemah Chamber of Commerce and invited Dr. Holloway to be a luncheon speaker. During that presentation, he spoke about the research being conducted with goats, especially goats with a gene for cashmere. I later visited Langston University and met the director of research and other research leaders. My wife Elaine and I purchased about 167 female and 7 male Spanish goats with a gene for cashmere. Working with Langston University and Oklahoma State University Extension personnel, we were able to write a research proposal and $10,000 grant request to SARE, Sustainable Agriculture Research and Extension. This was my introduction to SARE. After working with the SARE program as a farmer rancher, I was selected to be on the Southern Region SARE board and later became its chairman, helping to promote sustainability practices in agriculture. 2 people, Dr. Jill Auburn and Dr. Jeff Jordan, played major roles in my growth with SARE. They provided the leadership and led my participation in the national SARE program. The highlights of my journey with SARE was being asked to present my goat research at the USDA International Forum in Washington, D.C. After the presentation, I was invited to the office of the Secretary of Agriculture for a short visit and photo op. Many people have asked me why I didn't attend veterinary school at OSU. I tell them I wasn't accepted. They say, why? I tell them that I wasn't interested in why I couldn't. I was interested in becoming a veterinarian, so I concentrated on those things that led to the achievement of my goal. I attended and graduated from an 1890 land-grant institution, Tuskegee Institute, with a Doctor of Veterinary Medicine degree. My mother told me that many times one door closes because God has another door that He wants you to see. And she was right. Had I not attended Tuskegee Institute Veterinary School and participated in the Langston University SARE program, I would not have been selected to travel on agriculturally related trips to China, Russia, and Africa. Prior to my tenure with SARE ending, I was asked by the Dean of the College of Agriculture at OSU to be one of the 2 representatives to Southern CARET, Council on Agricultural Research, Extension, and Teaching. One of the early projects I worked on with Southern CARET was developing a resolution that would go to National CARET requesting that the land grant budgets for 1862, 1890, and 1994 land grant institutions be submitted together for equitable funding. I was the Southern CARET member selected to take this resolution to Washington, D.C. for the National Committee meeting. The delivery of the resolution occurred at 8:00 a.m. on September 11th, 2001, and was the only business completed that day before the terrorist attacks began. After those now infamous attacks on Washington, D.C. and Pennsylvania, the hard part was getting back home to Oklahoma, and that's another story. As a member of the Southern Region Carrot, I went on to become a member and later chairman of the National Carrot Organization. My appointment as a Carrot member has been continuous through 4 deans of agriculture. Dr. Thomas Kuhn, Dean and Vice President of Agriculture at OSU, gave me my current appointment. Your attitude will be crucial in determining your level of success as you travel up your chosen pathway of economic pursuit. But as you prepare to climb that ladder, don't forget from whence you came. Don't forget the family members that made numerous sacrifices in order that you might be able to reach your goals. Don't forget that there will be other land-grant scholars behind you that may need your help. Don't forget from whence you came. Also, don't forget your land-grant institution that gave you the opportunity to reach your educational goals and economic success. The quality of your education is due in part to the gifts from alumni which fund professorships, equipment, facilities, and research. We owe it to future generations of students to give back to our school and university so that those that follow will also have an opportunity to receive the best education available. Again, it is your attitude that will determine how you will give back. Strive for success, but also strive for significance. Don't only be successful, also be significant. Remember, your success is a very self-centered action or result. Your significance goes beyond success and is determined by what you do for others. So I repeat, don't only be successful, also be significant. Give back that others might benefit. The more others benefit from what you do, the more significant you become. Your success in navigating the land-grant system will be determined by those who put you on their shoulders and assist you in crossing the finish line. And with that, we're ready for the last 2 stanzas of Dr. George Washington Carver's favorite poem. You are the handicap you must face. You are the one who must choose your place. You must say where you want to go, how much you will study the truth to know. God has equipped you for life, but he lets you decide what you want to be. Courage must come from the soul within. The person must furnish the will to win. So figure it out for yourself, my lad. You were born with all that the great have had. With your equipment, they all began. Get hold of yourself and say, I can. Thank you.